Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is a place where we slow down, relax, and take a peaceful walk through forgotten history. Tonight, we're stepping into the shoes of a medieval peasant. No kings, no knights, just ordinary people living quiet lives in the Middle Ages. So find a comfy spot, maybe grab a blanket, and let's travel back to a simpler time. This is the 50 most significant events of the Middle Ages. Let's begin. Discover the 50 most significant events of the Middle Ages, spanning the years 500 to 1500. This comprehensive timeline includes pivotal political and military events, groundbreaking inventions, influential writings, and major religious milestones across Africa, Asia, and Europe. Explore how these events shaped medieval history and left a lasting impact on the world's 6th century, 5 to 3, 5 to 4. Boethius writes, "The consolation of Philosophianicus Manlius Severinus Boethius, a Roman senator and philosopher, finds himself imprisoned by King Theodoric the Great on charges of conspiracy. During his imprisonment, Boethius wrote The Consolation of Philosophy, a philosophical treatise that explores profound questions about fortune, happiness, fate, and the nature of good and evil. The work is presented as a dialogue between Boethius and Lady Philosophy, who consoles him and provides wisdom on enduring hardships. It would become one of the most influential works of the Middle Ages, blending classical philosophy with Christian theology. 525. The Anno Domini calendar is invented. Dionysius Exiguus, a monk and theologian from present-day Romania, creates the Anno Domini AD dating system while calculating the dates of Easter. He sets the starting point of this calendar at the birth of Jesus Christ, aiming to move away from the Diocletian era, named after a Roman emperor who persecuted Christians. Although later research suggests that Dionysius miscalculated the exact year of Christ's birth, the Anno Domini calendar gradually gained acceptance. It became widely used in ecclesiastical contexts and eventually became the predominant method of numbering years in Western civilization. 5 to 9, 534. Code of Justinian, issued Emperor Justinian I of the Byzantine Empire, commissions a comprehensive codification of existing Roman laws, resulting in the Corpus Juris Civilis, or Code of Justinian. It is a pivotal achievement in the history of law, preserving Roman legal principles and influencing the development of legal systems in Europe and beyond. Its rediscovery in the West during the Middle Ages sparks a renewed interest in Roman law, shaping the foundations of civil law traditions. The enduring legacy of Justinian's code is evident in modern legal codes and systems that draw upon its principles. 541 to 542. Plague of Justinian. The Plague of Justinian, also named after the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, emerged as one of the first recorded pandemics in history. The outbreak is caused by the Yersinia pestis bacterium, the same pathogen responsible for the later Black Death, causing an estimated 25 million deaths in the Mediterranean and Middle East. This event had profound effects on the population and economy of the affected regions. 563. Saint Columba founds Ionesty. Columba, an Irish missionary monk, and 12 companions embark on a journey to the island of Iona off the western coast of Scotland. There, they establish a monastic community that becomes a significant center of Christian learning and missionary activity. Columba's foundation of the monastery on Iona marks a critical moment in the spread of Christianity throughout Scotland and northern England. The monks of Iona, under Columba's leadership, engage in the transcription of religious texts, the education of clergy, and the evangelization of the local Pictish population. Iona and the monastic network it developed was renowned for its production of illuminated manuscripts, including the Book of Kells, and its role in preserving Christian and classical knowledge. 590. Gregory the Great becomes Pope Gregorius IX, better known as Gregory the Great, ascends to the papacy in 590, becoming Pope Gregory I. His papacy, lasting until 604, is marked by significant administrative and spiritual reforms that strengthened the role of the papacy and the Roman Catholic Church. Gregory is credited with organizing the Church's liturgical practices, including the development of Gregorian chant, which became a cornerstone of medieval music. Gregory's writings, including his dialogues and pastoral care, provided guidance to bishops and clergy, influencing Christian thought and pastoral practice for centuries. 7th century, 618, Tang dynasty begins in 618 AD. Li Yuan, a prominent general of the Sui dynasty, led a successful rebellion and established the Tang dynasty, becoming its first emperor under the name Gaozu. The Tang dynasty is characterized by significant advancements in Chinese culture, governance, and international relations. The era is marked by political stability, economic prosperity, and cultural flourishing. The Tang dynasty fostered a golden age of Chinese civilization, where art, literature, and technology thrive. The Tang dynasty is also known for its openness to foreign influences, establishing the Silk Road as a major trade route and promoting diplomatic relations with neighboring countries. This period also saw the flourishing of Thames poetry and the spread of Buddhism across East Asia, leaving a profound legacy that influenced Chinese culture and history for centuries. 622 Hijrian, 622 AD. The Hijra, or Hijra, marks a pivotal moment in Islamic history. The Prophet Muhammad and his followers migrated from Mecca to Medina, fleeing persecution and establishing a new community based on Islamic principles. This migration signifies the beginning of the Islamic calendar and represents a crucial turning point in the rise of Islam in Medina. Muhammad established a political and religious community that unified the various tribes under the banner of Islam. It remains a fundamental historical and spiritual milestone in the Islamic world, symbolizing the transition from a phase of struggle to a period of growth and consolidation. 651. Islamic conquest of Persia. Islamic conquest of Persia, completed in 651 AD, marks the end of the Sassanid Empire and the expansion of the Islamic Caliphate. After 2 decades of conflict, the Battle of Al-Qadisiyah, 636, and the subsequent campaigns lead to the fall of the Sassanid capital, Ctesiphon. This conquest is a landmark event in the history of the Islamic world, as it significantly extended the territories under Muslim control and integrated Persian lands into the Caliphate. The conquest led to the establishment of new administrative practices, the integration of Persian bureaucratic traditions, and the promotion of Islamic scholarship and culture. The transformation of Persia under Islamic rule sets the stage for future developments in the region. including the rise of the Abbasid Caliphate and the flourishing of Persian intellectual and cultural life. 691 BRI. Buddhism becomes the state religion of China in 691 AD. Empress Wu Zetian of the Tang dynasty officially recognizes Buddhism as the state religion of China. This decision marks a significant shift in the religious landscape of China, as Buddhism, which had been introduced centuries earlier, now receives imperial endorsement and support. Empress Wu's patronage leads to the establishment of Buddhist institutions and the construction of numerous temples and monasteries throughout the empire. This period was a renaissance in Buddhist scholarship, with the translation of important scriptures and the promotion of Buddhist teachings. The state endorsement of Buddhism helped to institutionalize the religion, leading to its widespread adoption and integration into Chinese culture and society. The influence of Buddhism during this era extends beyond religious practices to impact Chinese philosophy, art, and politics. This development strengthens Buddhism's role in shaping the spiritual and cultural identity of China for future generations. 717 to 718 Siege of Constantinople. From 717 to 718 AD, the Umayyad Caliphate launched a significant siege against Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. Emperor Leo III mounted a vigorous defense of the city, utilizing advanced fortifications, naval forces, and diplomatic alliances to repel the Umayyad forces. The siege marks one of the most important military conflicts in the Middle Ages. This would lead to significant changes within the Islamic world. 747 to 750 Abbasid Revolution. The Abbasid Revolution saw the overthrow of the Umayyad Caliphate and the establishment of the Abbasid Caliphate, led by Abu Muslim. The revolutionaries capitalized on widespread dissatisfaction with Umayyad rule, including grievances over perceived corruption and nepotism. The revolution culminates in the decisive Battle of the Zab 750, where the Umayyad forces are defeated. The Abbasid Caliphate's rise signifies a major shift in the Islamic world, with the new rulers moving the capital from Damascus to Baghdad. This shift marks the beginning of a golden age of Islamic culture and science, as the Abbasids promoted advancements in various fields, including mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. The era is known for its intellectual achievements and cultural exchanges. The Abbasid period also saw the flourishing of trade and the establishment of a rich cultural and scholarly tradition that influenced the broader Islamic world. 793 Vikings raid. Lindisfarne. 793 Norse Viking raiders launched an attack on the monastery of Lindisfarne, which is located off the northeast coast of England. This attack symbolizes the start of a series of Viking incursions into the British Isles and Western Europe. These piratical raids eventually led to Norse expansion and the establishment of Vikings kingdoms beyond Scandinavia. 800 Charlemagne crowned emperor on Christmas Day in the year 800. Charlemagne, the king of the Franks, was crowned emperor of the Romans by Pope Leo III in a ceremony at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. This event marks the revival of the title of emperor in Western Europe, a symbol of the re-establishment of the Roman Empire's legacy. Charlemagne's coronation signifies the union of Christian and secular authority, with the Pope's recognition enhancing Charlemagne's legitimacy as a ruler. Charlemagne's reign is characterized by military conquests, administrative reforms, and cultural revival. He is known for expanding the Carolingian Empire across much of Western Europe, and for his support of the Carolingian Renaissance, a revival of art, culture, and learning. His reign lays the groundwork for the future Holy Roman Empire and shapes the medieval political and cultural landscape of Europe, making Charlemagne a key figure in the history of the Middle Ages. 9th century 843 Treaty of Verdun, signed in 843 AD, is a historic agreement that divides the Carolingian Empire among the three grandsons of Charlemagne, Charles the Bald, Louis the German, and Lotharii. The treaty is a response to internal conflicts and power struggles following Charlemagne's death, aiming to restore peace and stability among the heirs. Under the terms of the treaty, the empire is divided into three distinct kingdoms: West Francia, East Francia, and Lothharingia. This division marks the beginning of the political formation of France and Germany, laying the groundwork for the future development of these nation-states. The Treaty of Verdun is a seminal moment in medieval European history, as it sets the stage for the evolution of political boundaries and the formation of national identities in Western Europe. 862 Rurik Dynasty in Russia. 862. Rurik, a Varangian chieftain, established the Rurik dynasty in the region of Rus, a foundational moment in the history of Eastern Europe. According to the primary chronicle, Rurik is invited by local tribes to rule over them and bring stability to the region. Rurik's establishment of the dynasty marks the beginning of a centralized rule over the East Slavic lands. His successors expanded the territory, setting the stage for the future formation of the Kievan Rus state. The influence of the Rurik dynasty extends throughout the medieval period, shaping the foundations of Russian statehood and influencing the historical development of the region for centuries to come. 10th century, 910 Cluny Abbey, founded in 910. William I, Duke of Aquitaine, founded Cluny Abbey in Burgundy, France, initiating a significant movement in monastic reform. The establishment of Cluny Abbey marks the beginning of the Cluniac reform, which emphasized piety, discipline, and a commitment to prayer and worship. Cluny Abbey becomes a major center of religious life, influencing monastic practices throughout Europe and establishing a network of affiliated monasteries. 911 Foundation of Normandian 911, a historic agreement between Charles the Simple, King of West Francia, and the Viking leader Rollo, establishes the Duchy of Normandy. This treaty, known as the Treaty of St. Clair-Serpt, grants Rollo and his followers control over the region in exchange for their allegiance to the French king and a commitment to defend the kingdom against other Viking raiders. The foundation of Normandy marks a turning point in European history as it integrates Norse settlers into the political and cultural fabric of France. Rollo's descendants, known as the Normans, went on to play a major role in European affairs over the next 2 centuries, including with England, Italy, and the Byzantine Empire. 919 First use of gunpowder. The Battle of Langshan-Jiang, fought in 919, witnessed the first recorded use of gunpowder as a weapon of war. With the help of fire-throwing devices, the forces from the state of Wu Yu burned down 400 enemy ships along the Yangtze River. The use of gunpowder weaponry would expand across China and eventually into other parts of the world. Fundamentally, changing the way warfare was conducted. 969 Foundation of Cairo. The Fatimid Caliphate established the city of Cairo in 969, which became a major center of Islamic culture and politics. Founded by the Fatimid general Jawhar al-Sakili, Cairo is initially named Al-Qira, meaning the victorious. The city is strategically located along the Nile River, which supports its growth as a vital hub of trade, learning, and administration. Cairo would soon be one of the largest cities in the world, and today remains the capital of Egypt. 979 Song Dynasty reunites China in 979. The Song Dynasty completed the reunification of China under its rule, ending a period of fragmentation. Following the fall of the Tang Dynasty, the Song Dynasty, founded by Zhao Kuangyin Emperor Taizong, brought an era of consolidation, reform, and cultural advancement. The dynasty is characterized by a focus on bureaucratic governance, economic development, and technological innovation. This new dynasty would rule the Middle Kingdom for more than 300 years, a period that the region's population expanded greatly. 11th century 1025. Avicenna writes the Canon of Medicine. The Persian philosopher and physician Avicenna, also known as Ibn Sina, completed his seminal work, the Canon of Medicine, in 1025. This comprehensive medical encyclopedia integrates Greek, Roman, and Islamic medical knowledge, presenting a systematic approach to understanding human health and disease. The Canon of Medicine covers a wide range of topics, including anatomy, physiology, diagnosis, and treatment of diseases, and remained the authoritative medical text in both the Islamic world and Europe for centuries. 1040. Invention of movable type. Around 1040, Bai Sheng, a Chinese inventor, pioneered the technology of movable type printing. Using clay and later wood, Bai Sheng creates individual characters that can be arranged and reused for printing texts. This invention revolutionized the production of books, significantly reducing the cost and time required to produce written materials. Movable type printing facilitates the spread of knowledge and information across China, contributing to the growth of literacy and the dissemination of ideas. 1054. Great Schism, official break between the Roman Catholic Church and Eastern Orthodox churches, which lasts to the present day. The mutual excommunications issued by Pope Leo IX and Patriarch Michael I Cerularius crystallized the division, creating two distinct branches of Christianity. This schism was the result of long-standing theological and political differences and had a profound impact on the Christian world. 10662 Norman conquest of England. The Norman conquest of England reached its climax with the Battle of Hastings, fought on October 14, 1066, with William's victory and his subsequent coronation as King William I of England. Norman rule brought significant changes in the political, cultural, and social landscape of England. 1077. Walk to Canassa. One of the most dramatic episodes of the investiture controversy took place when Holy Roman Emperor Henry IV made the famous walk to Canassa, facing excommunication from Pope Gregory VII over a dispute regarding the appointment of church officials. Henry IV travels to the castle of Canassa in the snow to seek the Pope's forgiveness. This penitential journey symbolizes the intense power struggle between the papacy and secular rulers over the control of ecclesiastical appointment. 1084, Zizi Tongjian published after 19 years of work. Sima Guang completed this chronicle of Chinese history, one of the most ambitious works of history ever created. It covers almost 1,400 years and was published in 294 volumes. It remains a crucial source for understanding Chinese history. 1095, the First Crusade, launched at the Council of Clermont. Pope Urban II calls upon Christians to undertake a military expedition in support of the Byzantine Empire against the Seljuk Turks. It would lead to the conquest of Jerusalem 4 years later and a concerted effort by Western Europeans to take control of the Near East. The First Crusade initiated a prolonged period of conflict and interaction between Christians and Muslims. The Crusades' legacy includes the establishment of military orders, the spread of new ideas and technologies, and a lasting impact on the religious and political dynamics of the region. 1098, Cistercians founded in 1098. The Cistercian order was founded by Robert of Molsum and a group of monks seeking a return to strict Benedictine observance. The establishment of the Cistercian order at Quito Abbey in France marked the beginning of a significant monastic reform movement in medieval Europe. The Cistercians' commitment to a life of simplicity, prayer, and manual labor sought to address the perceived laxity of contemporary monastic communities. Their reform emphasizes self-sufficiency, spiritual purity, and a focus on the contemplative life. 12th century 1135 Gothic buildings emerge around 1135 AD. The Gothic architectural style begins to emerge in France, starting with the renovation of the Basilica of Saint-Denis by Abbot Suzaire. This new style, characterized by pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and flying buttresses, represents a significant shift from the earlier Romanesque architectural tradition. Gothic architecture allows for taller and more expansive structures, with an emphasis on verticality and light. The style's innovations enabled the creation of grand cathedrals and churches, marked by soaring spires, intricate stained glass windows, and intricate stonework. The Gothic architectural movement spread across Europe, influencing the design of many of the continent's most iconic medieval buildings, including Notre Dame de Paris and Chartres Cathedral. The Gothic era sees the construction of some of the most celebrated examples of medieval architecture, reflecting the era's religious devotion and artistic achievement. The style's emphasis on height and light transformed the architectural landscape of medieval Europe. 1170 to 80, Maimonides writes, Mishnah, Torah. The Jewish philosopher Moses ben Maimonides wrote this 14-volume work on Judaism, which became one of the key books on the religion. The Mishnah Torah is a comprehensive code of Jewish law and ethics, reflecting Maimonides' scholarship and understanding of the Torah. 13th century 1206, Chinggis Khan becomes ruler of the Mongols in 1206. Temujin was declared Chinggis Khan, also known as Genghis Khan, the ruler of the Mongol tribes, marking the beginning of a transformative era in Asian and European history. Under Chinggis' leadership, the Mongol Empire rapidly expanded through a series of military conquests that established the largest contiguous state in history. 1-15. Fourth Lateran Council. Pope Innocent III opened the Fourth Lateran Council on November 11, 1215, held in Rome. The council brought together hundreds of bishops, theologians, and church leaders from across Christendom to address key issues facing the Church. The Council enacts a series of reforms and doctrines that have a profound impact on the Catholic Church. Key decrees include the requirement for annual confession and communion for Catholics, the definition of the doctrine of transubstantiation, and the establishment of new measures to combat heresy. The Fourth Lateran Council's decisions shaped the direction of medieval Catholicism, reinforcing papal authority and influencing church practices and policies for centuries. 1215, Magna Carta, June 15, 1215, King John of England agreed to the Magna Carta, a charter of liberties drafted by his rebellious barons. This document aimed to limit the power of the monarchy and establish certain legal protections for the barons and other higher-ranking members of English society. The Magna Carta is often regarded as a foundational document for modern democracy and the rule of law. It introduced concepts such as habeas corpus and the right to a fair trial, influencing the development of constitutional law in England and beyond. 1258, Siege of Baghdad. Mongol army, under the command of Hulagu Khan, captured Baghdad, bringing to an end the Abbasid Caliphate. In its place, a new empire known as the Ilkhanate would rule over much of present-day Iraq, Iran, and other parts of the Middle East. The city of Baghdad, once one of the richest and most powerful places in the medieval world, was greatly reduced. 1265. Thomas Aquinas begins his Summa Theologiae. This Dominican friar did not complete this massive work before he died in 1274, but the text has become one of the most important works on Christian theology. The Summa Theologia addresses questions such as the nature of God, the role of reason in faith, and the moral teachings of Christianity. It shaped the intellectual discourse of the Middle Ages and remains a key reference in theological studies. 1291. Siege of Acre. The last major Crusader stronghold in the Near East, Acre, was besieged and captured by the Mamluks in 1291. This event is often seen as the end of the Crusades, a series of religious and military campaigns initiated by the Latin Church to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. The fall of Acre marked the conclusion of nearly 2 centuries of conflict and the beginning of a new era in the Eastern Mediterranean, characterized by Mamluk dominance and the decline of European influence in the region. 14th century, 1315 to 1317. Great Famine. A series of crop failures and adverse weather conditions struck large parts of Europe, leading to the Great Famine of 1315 to 1317. This catastrophic event caused widespread hunger and death, significantly impacting the population and economy of medieval Europe. The famine led to social unrest, increased mortality rates, and long-term demographic changes. 1322, Dante Alighieri completes the Divine Comedy. Dante Alighieri, an Italian poet, completed his epic poem, The Divine Comedy, in 1320, considered one of the greatest works in literary history. The Divine Comedy is an allegorical journey through hell, purgatory, and paradise. Written in vernacular Italian, it played a crucial role in establishing Italian as a literary language. Dante's vivid imagery and exploration of themes such as justice, redemption, and the human condition have had a profound influence on literature, art, and theology. 1324 to 1325, Pilgrimage to Mecca. by Mansa Musa I, ruler of the Mali Empire, embarked on a pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, bringing with him a vast entourage and immense wealth. His pilgrimage showcased the prosperity and influence of the Mali Empire and had significant economic consequences for the regions he traveled through. Musa's journey also enhanced cultural and intellectual exchanges between Mali and the broader Islamic world. 1337, beginning of the Hundred Years' War, a protracted conflict between the kingdoms of England and France, began in 1337, spanning over a century. The war was characterized by a series of battles, truces, and intermittent peace. It was driven by territorial disputes, claims to the French throne, and economic rivalries. The war had profound effects on both countries, leading to political, social, and military transformations. 1347 to 1351, Black Death. The Black Death, one of the most devastating pandemics in human history, swept through Eurasia between 1347 and 1351. It is estimated to have killed as many as 200 million people, significantly reducing the population of Europe and Asia. The pandemic caused profound social, economic, and cultural upheavals. It led to labor shortages, economic decline, and changes in agricultural practices. The Black Death also had a lasting impact on art, religion, and society, influencing the course of European history. 1368, Ming Dynasty overthrows Yuanin. 1368, the Ming Dynasty overthrew the Mongol-led Yuan dynasty, establishing a new era of Chinese rule. The Ming Dynasty would govern China until 1644, a period marked by economic prosperity, population growth, and cultural achievements. The Ming rulers restored Chinese traditions and promoted Confucian values, leading to a revival of Chinese arts, literature, and philosophy. The construction of the Great Wall and the voyages of Zheng He are notable accomplishments of this period. 1378, Western Schism begins. The Western Schism, a split within the Catholic Church, began in 1378 when 2, and later 3, men simultaneously claimed to be the true pope. This division weakened the authority of the papacy and led to political and religious conflicts across Europe. The schism persisted until 1417, when the Council of Constance resolved the issue by electing a new pope. The Western Schism highlighted the need for church reform and contributed to the growing discontent that would later culminate in the Protestant Reformation. 1397, Colmar Union established. The Colmar Union, a political union of the kingdoms of Sweden, Denmark, and Norway, was established in 1397 by Queen Margaret I. The union aimed to create a unified and powerful Scandinavian state capable of resisting external threats. While it achieved some degree of political stability and cooperation, internal conflicts and regional differences ultimately led to its dissolution in the early 16th century. The Kalmar Union played a significant role in shaping the political landscape of Northern Europe. 15th century, 1401, competition for the Florence Baptistery. 1401, a competition was held in Florence to design the doors of the Baptistery of San Giovanni. The competition, won by Lorenzo Ghiberti, is seen as a key moment in the beginning of the Renaissance. Ghiberti's innovative design and use of perspective and classical themes marked a departure from medieval artistic conventions. This event signaled a renewed interest in classical antiquity and the humanistic values that would define the Renaissance. 1439, Gutenberg invents printing press. Johannes Gutenberg, a German blacksmith and inventor, developed the first European movable type printing press around 1439. This invention revolutionized the production of books and the spread of information, making literature more accessible and affordable. The printing press played a crucial role in the dissemination of knowledge, the advancement of education, and the spread of Renaissance and Reformation ideas. Gutenberg's press is considered one of the most important inventions in human history. 1453. Siege of Constantinople in 1453. Sultan Mehmed II of the Ottoman Empire conquered Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. This event marked the end of the Byzantine Empire and the rise of the Ottomans as a major international power. The fall of Constantinople had profound effects on trade, culture, and politics in the region. It also prompted European exploration and the search for new trade routes, contributing to the Age of Exploration. 1469. Marriage between Ferdinand and Isabella. The marriage of Isabella I of Castile and Ferdinand II of Aragon in 1469 united two of the most powerful kingdoms in Spain. Their union laid the foundation for the establishment of Spain as a unified and dominant international power. Ferdinand and Isabella completed the Reconquista by capturing Granada in 1492, and they sponsored Christopher Columbus's voyage to the Americas, initiating the period of European exploration and colonization. 1492. Columbus sails to the Americas in 1492. Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer sponsored by the Spanish monarchy, set sail westward across the Atlantic Ocean in search of a new route to Asia. Instead, he landed in the Caribbean, marking the beginning of European exploration and colonization of the Americas. Columbus's voyages had profound and far-reaching effects, leading to the exchange of goods, cultures, and ideas between the Old and New Worlds, and the eventual establishment of European colonies in the Americas. Many other important events could have made this list, but we felt these 50 had an extraordinary influence on history during the medieval period.